The Wellness Show, Episode 83.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyson Bannigan, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more.
It's also learning to become the witness to it or the observer. Mm-hmm. So, we're seeing a lot of stuff in the media at the moment. I mean, on a variety of topics, and if you are viewing that. It's very easy to get caught up in the emotion of it, or, take one side or the other and go, oh, that's a load of baloney, or, things like that. But being the observer of whatever it is we are seeing or hearing, to be able to go, well, that's interesting. I've driven people nuts over the years of when they've been telling a story, because effectively we are telling a story. I mean, in my book, I share the stories I have experienced and how they were playing out. And I've learned to actually, whenever a story is there, I go, hi, story. So it's like, it diffuses it. Rather than saying it's my history, it's my hi story. It's not who I am. It's the story I've told myself. It's the story other people have told me. So to actually have a bit of fun with it and say, oh, hi, story. Or if there's a pattern that seems to be repeating in your life, give it a number. And when it comes, if you are going through a process of a real education, being real in the world, and developing that awareness and that respect and that love, and taking that responsibility for what you're creating, taking and developing the response rather than the reaction, you come to that place where that pattern becomes identifiable. You can go, oh, I've looked back at different things and seen a pattern, and I share actually one of them in my book. For example, I have felt previously that whenever I was in a relationship, that the person I was in a relationship with was going to leave me for a man. And I had at that point in time put it onto the other person, whereas in my own journey, I came and I went, no, that originated from somewhere. Where did that come from? Because it was a repeating pattern in a couple of relationships. I had this fear. And then I realized that I was actually born and then raised as a Jehovah's Witness. And in that religion, God is a male deity. And my growing up in that, my mum did an absolutely fantastic job. She did the best she could with all the tools, knowledge, and resources at her disposal at the time. And she has, she contributed to where I have come to now. However, the concept of mother, of that person who I could share anything with, I could tell anything to, and still, be loved, there was a component of that was absent, in that if I said to my mum anything that went against the teachings of Jehovah's Witnesses, the immediate response was from a religious perspective. So it was pray harder or study harder. all of that kind of stuff. So that I had unconsciously adopted this or belief that my mum left me for a man who happened to be God. And this was an unconscious pattern and belief that had been playing out in my life, so that I had this thing about men, of men being a threat. And that, was just in this lifetime. So this awareness, it becomes very interesting in that sense to be able to do it. And so if I have that thought now, I just go, oh yes, that's story and pattern number 526. I just give it a number and go, oh yep, okay, 526, right, coming up again. Okay, get rid of that one. Just a number, change the dial, change the number. So that's another little thing that you can do, just because we can have lots of fun with it. We don't have to be serious. In fact, life's not meant to be so serious.
I thought you needed to be serious if you're going to be spiritual.
No, I call it play work. You look at children. They're fascinated by the world around them, and that's as adults we tend to lose that childish curiosity and interest in the world around us, because we become so serious. We're bombarded with so much stuff that tells us that we have to be a particular way, that you're supposed to have this kind of relationship, you're supposed to live in this kind of a situation, you're supposed to have this kind of a job, you're supposed to have this kind of education. No. If that's what you want to do, sure, but be sure that you are doing it because that's what you feel called to do, not because you feel that in order to have the approval or the acceptance or the status, that's what you have to do. You've really got to connect with your heart, with your soul, and allow that to guide you, and allow, not seeking, but just allowing, as you mentioned, surrendering, trusting that what we are meant to receive and what we are going to experience, it will come to us. We just have to surrender and let the universe know in various ways that we're open to it, to receiving it, and trust. Trust is a big thing, and I still find that a challenge at times as well. I'm about to go on this road trip. I'm being asked by Spirit to place a lot of trust that Spirit does have my back, that all my needs and desires on this road trip are going to be taken care of, because I effectively, will be relying on a particular source of income. I will have expenditures. I will have to find, I'll have to have places to stay. I'll be traveling with my animal companion. There are lots of things on this road trip that I could say, oh, it's all just too hard.
Yeah.
But it's a great, it's a really, really huge lesson in trust for me, and surrender. It's a place that obviously I have reached, that I'm able to do that, and it's not for everybody. But for me,
and in some
that's
ways,
what my
it is
soul
for
was
everybody.
calling me to do.
That's what the realization I'm coming for, certainly for empaths. Sorry to interrupt you, but it seems to me that we're being confronted with this as an empathic person, that we're being pushed to the sort of the edge of the wedge, so to speak, and we're being asked to live in faith. We're being asked to surrender. We're being asked to let go of what we think should be. That that we got it all mapped out with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that. And if we don't, then there's consequences of not doing that, so which are not joyful, and we want to be in joy, like you said. So, yeah, it's not everybody's in your position to do it as radically as you are, which is exciting because your story from the edge of being on the edge of this pilgrimage, reporting back to the rest of the civilization as you move along will be really interesting for you because it's a precursor to what we're going to have to do in our own lives. So you said you have an animal friend that's accompanying. What's your animal friend?
It's a dog. I regard him as my shadow. We're a match made in heaven, and ironically, it's the first male dog I have ever had. And he came to me at the time of when I was having the revelations about where this thing about men came from. So I was obviously ready for that to come in, but he will have his I've lost track of his age now. I haven't had him since a puppy. I got him as a free to good home at the time. That's another story in itself. But he'll be having his 8th or 9th birthday on the road trip as well, and we're just going to have so much fun and so many adventures together. He loves the car. It will be an experience for him being beside me in a tent or sleeping in a car. But we'll keep each other warm and company because there's just going to be so much to explore. It's just amazing, physically explore and spiritually explore as well. It's just and following on from what you were saying about us being invited to trust and surrender and have faith, we are all being called to that. It's just that the form it takes for each of us will be different. So in my case, this road trip is the form it's presenting, this radical opportunity for me to really it's like standing on the precipice of a cliff. I'm being asked to take that huge leap and trust that I will be carried. But somebody else, the form that comes in can be entirely different.
Yeah, I get the feeling. I keep hearing
But
that report from the edge from Lisa Carberry.
Yeah.
So where are you, Lisa, now? Where are you now, and what will be the first leg of your journey?
I am still in Victoria, in the Melbourne area. I will be here for around about 1 more month at the most to finalise everything. And then the general plan is to head northeast. So going from there towards just trying to think of places where listeners may have heard, towards the direction of Sydney. I'm attempting to avoid major cities and actually stay on the outskirts of places. That's the general direction. But I actually haven't plotted a route.
Well, great.
That's
truly being led.
Literally, I'm just going to pack the car. Yeah, I'm just going to pack the car up when it's time to go.
Yeah.
And make sure there's plenty of petrol in it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to drive and allow the direction to take me wherever, and that I will stop wherever. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but it's exciting at the same time.
Well, from my experiences in Australia when I was around 21, and the freedom to travel in those days, you could hitchhike and it was safe to do that. And hitchhiking up the coast of Queensland and along the Great Barrier Reef and the countryside and the people, and just being back in the behind the black stump and finding real people with real hearts and real issues for me was exciting. It's, when you're in it's like a different world. It's not a city world. It's a world that's very close and breathes and with nature. And so I'm very excited for you. There'll be a great, great journey for you. And who knows who you're going to meet along the way.
Exactly. I'm excited to just see who I meet and what experiences I have. You know, Queensland is one of the places I would like to go to. There's a beautiful area called the Atherton Tablelands that I've heard a lot about that I'd like to go to. But really, it's about being in nature. It's not about staying in cities and buildings. It's about getting out there, connecting with nature, and also along the way I would like to engage with some of Indigenous Aboriginal cultures and communities, to get to understand and be with them and their traditions and the connection that we actually all have. So hopefully that an opportunity will present for that to be experienced as well. Whether that be when I'm going through Central Australia with the lakes of Uluru, Alice Springs, most people may know as Ayers Rock, but its traditional name is Uluru. It was changed, so you know that's one of my places I would like to visit. But I haven't plotted a route.
I wish you
and I'll be doing
a walkabout experience. I mean, for me, I couldn't think of anything more exciting, especially with your healing modality, though, which is going to be the Pleiades. You're going to have to do walkabout with those that are direct descendants and communicate with the Pleiades and even say that they visited them. And I got a kick out of the Aboriginals saying, well, what about the moon? What's so fantastic about the white man going to the moon? We go to there all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the things, I mean, I'm going very minimalist. Basically, all that will be in my car is my tent and the things I need to construct that. Minimal clothes, myself and my dog, my blankets to keep warm, but I am taking my entire crystal collection on the road with me. So that is coming. So it's going to be interesting. I was told by them they wanted to come on this adventure too, but I've also been guided that there is a reason that they're all coming with me.
Well, that makes sense to me. When I tune into that, Lisa, what I get is that you'll be using the crystals to do earth healing ceremonies along the way. So that's the feeling I get about why the crystals want to come along, that you'll be using them to do very energetic releases of tribal areas that are blocked up in ley lines and energy lines. So that's exciting. So.
And my name, sorry to interrupt, Tice, and one of the other things is my Native American drum, because I do a lot of drumming and chanting and toning through that as well. So that's also coming with me and will be involved in the services that I offer on the road.
Well, that sounds great. You know, one of the things I would hope that you would figure out is I think that, you know, if we stay in touch and with the readers we have and listeners, we do have listeners. The second, I think the third largest group is in Australia, probably because of you and you being on the show. But I think people will probably want to meet up with you. So you might want to let people know through your Facebook where you're going to show up or how they can meet with you along the route. I don't know if you thought about that, but that seems to be something that will allow you to meet some of the people that feel called to have a conversation with you.
Well, I have actually already started. I'm just blown away by the number of people that, you know, I've never met. I've only really had connection with through Facebook, and just sharing things in that forum, and the number of people already who have said, are you coming through here? Let me know if you're coming through this area. I really want to catch up with you. I'd really like to meet you in person. And I'm saying, yeah, well, that's fantastic. Let's keep in touch. So as I am using social media and the check-ins, the monthly check-ins with the wellness show, I will have a greater idea of where things are going, and as soon as I know I will let everybody else know.
Well, that's great. Well, we've got a few more minutes. I've taken the liberty of taking a half-hour show and making it into an hour show because you're well in full flight at the 30-minute mark, and we're now at 48 minutes. So we've got about 12 minutes to go to help people understand the gifts that you want to bring through your program and how you see you're going to apply the program on the road, and how that might help people come into their true nature. So I'm loving the conversation so far and what you're about to do. So back to the original topic, which was being real in an unreal world, and that real stands for 4 aspects in your program that you want to help people come to an understanding, and that you're willing to help them do that. And now you're going to do that still on the road are you going to do one-to-one, and are you going to do group, and are you going to do some you're shaking your head and saying yes, and probably then some in-person stuff too then.
Yes, the beauty of the work is that it is movable, so I can do it from the road, because we can say things about technology, but if one thing we can be extremely grateful for with technology is that it gives us portability. Mm-hmm. So I will have everything with me that is necessary to conduct work with people online via Skype or using another platform. But it does also open up the opportunity for wherever I am, if I meet people, that I can work in person one-on-one with them, and then as I move from that area, continue it in an online form. There are places that I will visit that it might just be an overnight stay, but there are going to be places that I will feel called to stay in longer, which will allow me to do more and be more in that area. So there may be opportunities for small group activities. One thing that has come to my mind is that if I'm in a particular place for a longer period of time, that I will offer morning meditations as the sun is rising. So they'll be really early in the morning, but somewhere within nature that we are welcoming that day, and setting the intentions to be real and authentic as we engage with that day. So that's one thing that I would be looking at, and also evening meditations as the sun sets, or fire ceremonies, moon ceremonies. There'll be a whole lot of things that I will offer according to wherever I am. So I will keep people posted about where I am in the journey, and what I will be offering in that area whilst I'm in that area, so that anybody who is interested and in that area can come along and participate and have some really profound experiences of their own, and another way for me to share my expansion, because what's going on for me and everything that I have been able to accomplish, for people who are familiar with the Bible or words of Jesus that are famously quoted, all this I have done, you can do, and more.
Right. So, Lisa, you have a Jehovah's Witness background, but it sounds to me like you have a deep Buddhist tradition as well. So is that true? Do you have a Did you come through the Buddhist tradition as well?
Well, it's actually funny that you mentioned that, Tyson, because I actually have had some insights about previous incarnations. And I was very honored to be a guest speaker at a local community event the other night. And we did I finished off with a meditation. And there was a lady in attendance, and she received, we were doing this meditation, and she got this image of me in a previous lifetime as a monk, and it was a visual of me dressed in monk's attire, and I was a male, and she also was given Dao or Tao, depends on, some people say Tao, other people say Dao, so D-A-O, excuse me. So she was given that. So, it was funny because I'd had that kind of an insight previously, and I'm very much, it's a way of life. It's not a teaching or a philosophy in that sense. It's a way of living. And so whilst I've studied it, I've never aligned myself particularly. It's just something that I've explored, and so who knows, maybe I might have some experiences in some of the Buddhist temples within Australia.
Yeah,
whilst
to me,
I'm here too.
It oozes out of your pores. So past life, this life doesn't matter. When I see you and think about you, I do have the image of Buddhism is really strong, as well as shamanism, right? And of course, I didn't know about your background as a Jehovah's Witness, but that certainly gives you a deep understanding of the Christian Bible and teachings of Jesus as well. So, I mean, those are three beautiful ways that you can communicate with different groups of people and talk about from the perspective of where they are and where they want to go, especially as they open up to a more, what would you call, global collective, where we move beyond religion. We're really on the path of oneness, awakening to our soul in our true nature, which is beyond religion, beyond nation, and really connected to nature. So you're in a really nice position to allow that synthesis and to be able to guide people. So Lisa, we just have a few more minutes to go. I would love for you to let people know once again how they can get hold of you, and then to wrap up, from all the things that we've said, what would you like to leave with people around the theme that we started with?
Well, first off, people can visit my website, which is www.lisa-carberry.com. There you'll get all the information about the services that I offer, but I've also got links to all of the social media, so my Facebook, etc. So you can that's the best port of call to then access all the other social media avenues and keep in touch. You can also email me at Lisa, from the email address lisa@carberry.com, if you want to connect with me that way. And Instagram, all of that kind of stuff. So that's how people can connect with me. Also through the wellness show, Tyson, you will be no doubt having a bit of information and links. So anybody looking and listening to your show will see in the program notes any contacts. So that's another way that people can access those contacts. And my closing comments would be to encourage everybody listening. It may feel like a challenge, but for those who are willing to accept the challenge, for those who are willing to be the change that they want to see in the world, to initiate change, to begin their personal journey, real education revolution, you're going to go through the ebbs and flows. That's okay. I've been there and I still go through them now. The main thing is to show up for yourself to do that, because the rewards that come and flow from that are more expansive and vast than you can possibly imagine. It opens you to a world of infinite possibilities that you can explore if you're prepared, willing to take that voyage into the great unknown.
Well, Lisa, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show and have you back. I look forward to the monthly reports from the Pilgrim from the Edge. And it's just been a great conversation, and thank you ever so much. So bye for now.
Thanks, Tyson. Bye, everybody.
All right.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.